We began as wanderers, and we are wanderers still.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
I'm starting off fresh, and I feel good. I look good. I smells good. I am good. Happy Friday, my friend.
And happy Friday to you all. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. It is your boys, Josh, Walt, and Zack, hanging out with you this morning. What's up, fellas?
Howdy do?
Do do good.
Howdy. Ah. So how was the week there, Joshua?
It's quiet around here. Not too much going on at all. Just working.
Yeah.
That's really about the extent of it.
The weather ever break for you there in the Midwest?
I mean, it's raining. It's actually going to get a little chilly today. It's only going to get in the high of like the 40s. But I think overall it'll be all right.
That's good. Yeah, we've been getting some rain lately too. Our asparagus is like over 3 feet tall now. It popped out. It grew like over a foot in one day.
That's insane.
It was weird. I've been watching it. And I watch them come up. They're a couple inches, and they'd grow a couple more inches. And once they hit about a foot and a half, I went out there the next day, and that stalk was like a foot taller, and there was a 6 or 7 inch one right next to it. I think it came right after one of the good rains we had. I've never grown asparagus before. It's different.
It is different. And it's one of those that you kind of have to, it's a patch that you sort of keep. And
it'll come back year after year after year.
But like blueberries, it sort of takes a little while for it to actually get situated and settled for it to really start producing some good asparagus.
Yeah, we'll probably get, we planted them last year, and we might get a couple cuts off of it. There's not going to be stalks and stalks and stalks. That comes after years and years and years. Like last year, each plant had about one stalk when we got it, and then I think 1 or 2 stalks like started, but they never fully developed. And now I think each of them have 3 stalks right now. And I know asparagus is one of the first ones to pop. It's like your daffodils and your tulips. They like to bloom early. They're one of the early bloomers to let you know spring is here. Yeah, it grows wild all over Indiana, along the highways out in the country. You'll know when it's time for asparagus because you'll see people pulled over on the side of the highway, just going over and cutting a big handful of asparagus for dinner.
Hell yeah.
Makes you wonder how it started. Like, who planted that asparagus? Because, I mean, some of them are, it's like a quarter-mile long along this farmer's field. And I know he plows the inside of the field, so it doesn't go that way. But, I mean, this asparagus is like a quarter-mile long. You see it growing down some of these highways. Wonder how long it's been there.
It do make you wonder.
Yeah. Is it all just from one plant? Did that start in one spot, or was it? I don't know. No,
That's what I used to wonder about the red clover and all the medians along the interstate system that used to be there when I was growing up. That used to be one of the mind blowers for me growing up, was following another vehicle and watching that weird wave of wind vector its way through all that red clover on the side of the road there. I don't know. It's not around there anymore. Or not here anyway.
Now, red clover, is that with like a pink flower on top?
It's reddish green. Here, I'll find it. Hang on.
I know clover. And I know there's multiple different types of clover. But they say they're all edible. Everything in the clover family is edible from root to flower. Yeah, it's a good one.
All right, here it comes, everybody. I'm sorry, I had a cat appear midway. How do I share? Here we go. Yeah, this used to grow for miles and miles and miles and miles. Like, I typed it in as red clover in enter, and I didn't even finish that. All the rest popped up, interstate highway system. So other people remember it as well.
Yeah, the one right in the middle near the second row, right in the middle.
That one?
Yeah, that's the clover I'm used to seeing. Up in
the taller one I've got like highlighted over here to the right. Those are the ones that I remember along the interstate because they were slightly taller than the white ones that would grow in my yard. And I was told it was red clover, but I was never told why it was all along every interstate that we drove. And this was not just in Mississippi where I was, when this was probably 2 years old, I guess. But we would go to Texas, we would go to Alabama, we would go different places with my job, my dad's jobs. And so I saw that everywhere here in the South anyway. I wonder, is there an explanation?
Yeah, that's one of those things. It was found, clover itself is found all over the country. I've found it everywhere, out in the desert even. It's amazing. Well, I guess animals, they eat it and they can carry it around. I'm not sure how long a clover seed will last out in nature. But I know
a century of clover breeding developments in the United States is an abstract I just found, and it did talk about the red clover in it a bit. Still, I'm not seeing anything. Why along the interstates? It does seem to be in relation to crop, health, crop, blah, 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 over the years. So perhaps that's how it got into the system of the roads. It was just everywhere down there, down here, whatever. I don't know. Still not finding why it was everywhere.
Red rover, red clover, send pollination on over.
I was watching Karen B show Monday, and she was talking about Sasquatch. Where'd they come from? What are they? Is it a different species? Is it, well, Imagine if we ate nothing but clover and dandelion and all these super healthy, superfoods, like microgreens your whole life. Would we be bigger and stronger? Would we grow larger? I mean, it's almost like we're
Hell,
poisoned.
how about if we just weren't eating the fucking crap they shovel our way, on a daily basis, let alone turning it the other way and eating really good stuff.
Yeah, we're poisoned pretty much from the day we're born, almost our whole lives. We are poisoned. So if we weren't, would we grow bigger and stronger and have more hair? If we never wore clothes, would we grow hair all over our body that got thicker? And I don't know. What if we could be Bigfoot if we just lived in the wild?
Well, I knew a little guy. Wow, I knew a gentleman a few years ago who was an anthropologist. How about something in my mouth? Coffee, some water. I don't know. Hang on. He was an anthropological professor here at UL, and we got to know him in the 90s because of a book he had put out called Everything You Know Is Wrong. And in that book, he talked about the fact that if you go through what is called the fossil record, you will notice that there is no missing link. It's just not there. Oh, this one's called a missing link. No, it's not, because we found all kind of other shit. We didn't find a short-necked giraffe, but we didn't find a missing link. And so his anthropological studies and research he did led him to believe that exactly what you're talking about is exactly what it would be like if we hadn't been interfered with. Where he takes the interference is a whole different place, but I think just the genetic manipulation of the food, water, air, TV, electromagnetic fucking soup we live in, just that is altered us enough to account for what he said, is that if we weren't messed with, we would be the Sasquatch. That is who we are, that we were altered at some point in our history, and we are the offshoot of the Squatch line, and they are who we are if we weren't manipulated in the many ways we've been manipulated. Now, unfortunately, like I and many others who were looking for some answers, he went down that old sitchin hole, and as painful as that can be, it's really harder to get out. So he did take some of his research in that direction. But I'm sure if he and I were able to speak today and were able to talk about some, places, maybe undiscovered lands with undiscovered creatures that might be a few years in advance of us, and we could probably get him around to some different ways of thinking, I would think. Anyway, yeah, Zach, I think that's definitely what it is, that what's been done to us as human is definitely deterred us, or definitely hindered us in many ways. As cool as it is to be a human.
The Sam Squanch community has gotten a lot bigger over the last couple decades. Karen B was talking about that, how, it's not so taboo. You can have a conversation with somebody on the street, and chances are they probably know somebody that believes in a Bigfoot, at least. If they don't, they know people who have openly talked to them about it before. It's not such a taboo character, or like it was in the 70s and 80s. They've been having conferences and stuff for decades now that are getting tens of thousands of people showing up to them. But yeah, it's definitely growing. The idea, it's just mind-boggling to think that, they say they've never found a skeleton, but they also say they've, never found skeletons of Indians that were all like 7, 8, 9 feet tall. But yet there's all kinds of old photographs and all kinds of newspaper articles that talk about all these findings from back in the day.
So I was listening to the Higher Side Chats recently, and he had a guest on who goes by Analog, and he's on Twitter. He was on YouTube for a while, but they ripped it out of their library. And he gets way into this. I guess it started off when he was a child. He found a bomb outside of his school. So he called it in and the police came, the bomb squad came, they blew it up and all that stuff. And the newspaper came and reported or interviewed him and things like that. And then years later, he was telling his friends and they didn't believe him. So he went back to try to find this newspaper article where he was interviewed for having found this bomb. And he found lots of other interesting stories about children finding bombs outside their school, but he went on and kept finding really, really interesting things. There was a newspaper article about things they had found in these cave systems. And anthropologists going through and like searching these caves and coming out and sort of offering to buy the property where the cave is at basically any price because of some of the giant things they found in there. They said a skeleton they found was the skeleton of an elephant, only bigger, where one of the rib bones, as it was reported in the newspaper article that he found, one of these rib bones was 26 feet long. And it just went on how they had these gigantic animals, like horses that would take ladders to climb up on. Like there's no way to build stables for these horses, and just all these gigantic animal bones. And amongst these was like a human. And it was just completely mind-boggling that there would have been a human amongst all these giant animals. And it was really interesting. And I thought there's a lot of things I think that crossed over into our discussion this morning and many other discussions prior about sort of, the giants and the hidden history. But he also goes in a little bit as to why he thinks maybe things were different. And I'd have to go back. Now I'm starting to draw a blank onto what it was. It's something to do with helium? I'll have to look it up.
That is wild. It was either yesterday or the day before. I saw it was a drawing, black and white, just a drawing, but it had horses standing there next to people, and the horses weren't anything huge, but then it had this elephant next to them, and like the people came up to its like knee on this elephant. It was that, or not even its knee. It didn't even reach its knee. Like you said, the 26-foot side or long rib bone or something like that. That's what this drawing was of. I'm not sure who drew it or anything. I looked at it and I was like, wow, that would be wild to see an elephant that size. They're finding bones that big? That's wow.
Well, this was decades ago, back when you could still report about those sorts of things in the paper. But I will drop links. It was really interesting. I'm pretty sure you've had him on before.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Fathom seeing an animal that size. $30, 40 feet tall, something like that. I was just watching a thing last night. There's all kinds of mounds in Ohio. One that's over 10 stories tall. There's one, it's shaped like a pyramid, and it's like 5 stories tall. I didn't know they went that far north, the big giant mounds like that.
I'm pretty sure it was this guy Analog, not to beat a dead horse, so to speak. He was saying that they're all like connected underground tunnels. All these caverns and things are connected underground, and the surface points are marked by star forts and these mound sites. Thought that was kind of an interesting idea.
Well, yeah, if you think about it, I mean, if they're
interestingly enough, my sister-in-law just got back. I'm sorry, from quite the adventure. She went down to I'm trying to remember what part of the Mayan area. Damn it, she said the name. I don't know now. I'll have to go find the details. But part of the reason she went is so that they could go inside of these caves on these inner tubes. And on these inner tubes, as they traversed these cave systems, they basically went in one side of a huge kind of a mound thing and came out the other side. As soon as I saw this little photograph right here, I'm like, I think I'm gonna call our buddy Mike and find out what my good friend, what my sister-in-law was riding around inside there. Because if that's not a fat layer, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Trying to get it to
you're
come
talking
closer. I'm trying to get it to do that thing. Oh, there it goes. No, that's as big as I can get it. But yeah, it
And that's down in
somewhere in Mexico. I'll have to get the exact location. They hit a bunch of places. Like they were on a week thing, and they went to about 4 different big stops, and this was one of them. There's Mayan ruins in the background. Oh, that's crazy. But anyway, it was all crystals. That's why they went in there, is because of these giant crystals. That's why she wanted to go. She's a crystallologist. She's the one I used to do the show with, Reality Check, back in the 90s. That was her getting mudded. They had this ritual in there where they got mud put on them from this inner cave area. But yeah, this is the other side of it. Let's see if I can find the ruins she went to. Here they were. There we go. That's the ruins she went to.
Wow.
Yeah, I told her, man, I'm so jealous. I would love to have checked that out. Without a doubt.
Now, who is supposed...
This is in a different place, I'm pretty sure. Like, those 2 places I just showed you are like miles and miles apart. So,
now, who do they think built that stuff?
I mean, it's Mayan ruins is what she was told. That's where she was going to, seeing some Mayan ruins. So, apparently they tell them the Mayans did it. Oh, and there were iguanas everywhere. Like every third picture, you can see a bunch of these lizards everywhere. And I'm like, oh, well, of course, lizards. I mean, they're lizard people. These lizards. Hang on. There they are. These lizards were everywhere. And there's one shot of one of these steps that, like, she did that you can see this lizard on every. This made me feel a little sus. And I asked Michelle to clarify where this particular little building was. Was it up in the Mayan area, ruin area, or was this off to the side somewhere? Because that little being held in place with mankind's girders there kind of made me feel a little like, that might have been put there after the fact.
Trying to do a Stonehenge on us?
Yeah, maybe so. Look, there's some lizards. Anyway, she had a blast. And definitely, as she said, inside that cave with those crystals felt incredible.
Awesome, man. You know, I never went to it. There's an island off the coast of Ohio. And they have what's the name of this island? Oh, crap. I can't think of it. But it's the largest underwater. It's like the largest geode in the world. You walk through the geode.
Yeah, I've heard about that one. Yeah, she talks about wanting to go there.
Oh, I can't remember the name of the island. But yeah, I'd love to go see that. I believe it has some type of like a fun name. Like, I don't know. However, names can be fun. You know what I mean? Got a catchy name. I'll look it up. We're almost to break.
Radium. That's what it was. The analog, I think, was saying was the big difference. Radium. And they started looking into radium, and there's radium in all the water and all this stuff. And one of the byproducts of radium is helium. That's why it was sticking in my brain pan. Yeah, there were some interesting little brain tickles in that show. Things that kind of made me some things that raised a few flags, some good flags, some green flags. I thought, there could be some threads to pull here. I guess he had found a story where some company was doing like exploratory shafts into the ground for mining or drilling or something. I don't know. But they were going down and they hit an open space where there was no ground. It was a cavern essentially. And they went and they explored in the cavern, and it was like this 284 acre underground cavern.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
There was just so many really cool stories. I don't even think I've finished the damn podcast yet. That's why I do like Greg Carlwood in the higher side chats. Park your ass and grab your glass.
I know they said they had those up in Porter County, Indiana. They call it the $7 Shrine. Weird place. I walked into this one mausoleum, and there was Jesus was sitting there, and like in this cage, and he had another smaller cage just around his head. Weird stuff. And there was monks there. And now there's a apartment complex or a bunch of houses. It used to be.
Everyone in chat who is currently gray, calm down. You are not punished. You're on a different channel. This is the Iron Realm Media podcast channel that you are listening to us on, as far as YouTube.
Yeah, I will grab my phone. I'll go through and start wrenching people back up because we are on a backup channel. We did get a strike. Stick around. We'll talk maybe a little more about that on the other side of the break. This is the Ironworx Truth Frequency Radio.
In this, a big share of my life until I met Mr. Show. I used to blame my negative relatives. I used to blame the government. I used to blame taxes. I used to blame pricing. I said, it costs too much. Show said, no, let's cover the real problem. You can't afford it. I thought, wow. I never looked at it like that before. Shoaff said, sir, you must intellectually understand. It's not it that's your problem. It's you that's your problem. It's not out there that's the problem. Out there is like it's been for 6,000 years. You can't cure that. But what you can cure is errors in judgment, errors in attitude, errors in activity, errors in misjudging results. I found that the errors were within. But see, he had to go after me on that point.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Greetings, Earth Explorers. My name is Brooks Agnew, and I am your host on X Squared Radio every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. This is where the past meets the future. We explore the mysteries of the universe and of the Earth. We might go a little past your imagination, but have no fear. You will be safely traveling with us. We will dissolve the propaganda of dangerous people with dangerous plans for the planet. We will discuss the latest technologies and challenges for humankind. We will discover the safest place for you to stand when the thinkings and doings of mankind come flying apart, and how you can be one of the people that helps put it back together. Join us.
is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
We could listen to Iron Realm Media in a nanosecond, but we've lost the technology. And it's a hard process to rebuild Truth Frequency Radio. And it's too bad because Iron Realm Media is a wonderful program.
Thanks, Don.
Gotta love old Don.
Wake up, wake up, wake up!
So guess what I found out over the week?
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
No, I guess I'm transphobic.
You've got a natural fear of crossing things?
We know, you know that we change things all the time now in this new leftist world here in the United States. Definitions change all the time. Meanings of things change all the time. So, yeah, you can't get hung up on dictionaries and stuff like that, Josh. Come on.
Oh, I don't.
You don't want to live too much in reality, right?
Nope.
So,
well, I disregard all of the LGBTQ, SPRT societal constructs. So,
yeah,
like terms like cisgendered is just bullshit. You mean gendered people? You mean males and females?
Yeah.
Terms like cisgendered are completely made up. That's how you describe 99% of the fucking population. And then there's you guys. And you want to try to apply some standard label to us. Oh, you're cisgendered. I mean, average.
Hey.
Normal.
That's call me. But yeah, apparently if I would rather sleep with a 100-year-old woman than a transgender woman, then I am transphobic, I guess. Because
you don't want to have sex with a man?
Boy pretending to be a girl, a man pretending to be a woman, because I wouldn't have sex with that, then I'm transphobic. Apparently.
I mean, how is it affecting your life? Is it having a negative impact on your life? Like agoraphobes, people who have this unnatural fear of like going outside and being in the open, being around people, have a hard time holding a job, having a hard time maintaining relationships because they never leave their house. And it keeps this big detriment. And I think that's sort of how you can call it a phobia. And I'm real curious to hear how this is affecting your life and how this is exactly a phobia. I keep hearing them throw that term around, transphobic, transphobia. But again, if it truly is a phobia, I think that there would be some pretty distinct flags in which you could label it. Oh, yep, see, this is what a phobia is. And you got it here, 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 and here. Oh, yep, that's a phobia. And I don't think transphobic marks any of those.
No, me neither. But according to
I, on the other hand, am transphobic because I don't really deal with change well. Like, change and I don't get along. You guys probably have noticed anytime something gets fucked up in an app or a game we play, I throw a little hissy fit for a couple of minutes and then I move on. But yeah, definitely don't like change. I am transphobic. No doubt. Oh, wait, we're not using English. I forgot. Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's amazing what they've done to some of these young people's minds so quickly. But it's nice to see at least parents are really flashing back at all this stuff in schools. Even the gay community is very upset. A lot of them I've seen that they're making the point that, hey, the LGBTQ flag should not be flown in any school. It is a sexual preference flag. That's what it is stating. It's all about sexual preference, something that should not be taught to children in schools. This is something for them to learn on their own time, in their own social structures, in their little society. Teachers should not be influencing this at all. They should be teaching reading, writing, arithmetic, things like that. Not social, the whole political nonsense. Teachers aren't supposed to be teaching that kind of stuff, right? We're supposed to leave that stuff at home, and your parents teach you about that kind of stuff. Or society does. That's what you learn on the playground. That's where you learn your societal structure as a child, not from the teacher telling you this crazy world that they're trying to portray like it really is out there, but it really isn't. If that makes any sense. I know I'm just kind of rambling. I'm sorry. Yes, school, Ian, you are 100% correct. Schools have been weaponized. It's a total social structure changing device now. I mean, in California, you don't even have to be able to read to graduate. What the fuck are the kids there for then? What are they doing for 12 years, 8 hours a day, 9 months out of the year? What are you doing if you haven't learned how to read yet?
Well, it was never about education. It was always about mind control and always about getting adults to obey the state. And the only way you can truly get an adult to obey the state is to catch them at an early age and teach them to obey the state. The Prussian army was an unbeatable army. I mean, they were so good, they used to hire themselves out as mercenary armies. And during one such time, Napoleon's army was just beating their ass. They were getting their ass kicked for the first time. They started to lose. And some of these Prussian soldiers just took off. It's like, well, fuck, we're losing. What do we do now? This is a new experience. And they ran off. And all the Prussian military leaders were like, well, how in the hell do we keep that from happening? And they said, I got it. We'll just take the children and we'll teach the children to obey the state and follow orders. That way, when we give orders, we don't have to worry about them disregarding the orders that we give and abandoning their posts. They will always stick to it no matter what we say, to the point that they will give their life to keep us in power. And they set up a public school system. And then when America decided they needed a public school system, they started looking for different models throughout history of public school systems. And the model they chose to model the American school system on was the Prussian system, because that's what it did. It has always been, since inception, about mind control and never about true education and passing along true knowledge. Only very limited gatekeeping mind control knowledge.
I thought they're wanting to start to privatize schools now. That's a new thing in Chicago. The producer's on her way out. It's confirmed. And one of the new guys is running on, well, we're going to promote education and blah, blah, blah by taxing the rich. And the other one's saying, oh, we're going to privatize schools.
Yeah. They're going to privatize schools because they're now starting to use a school voucher system, whereupon you don't have to necessarily go to school within the district in which you reside. You sort of have now, you can sort of pick and choose which school you'd like to go to using your taxes that you've already paid for, but you can use that voucher then to transfer your quote unquote tax money over to a different school district, and then you can send your kid to that school district. Don't ask me how transportation works. I don't fucking know. But that's probably a good reason why they're trying to privatize schools, because now you can set up a private school, take your public tax dollars, tax vouchers, and say, I want to go to that school, and apply your public tax money to a private school. I do believe is how that works, which is why you're going to be seeing a lot more privatized schools pop up.
So what is your opinion on privatized schools? You think
teach flat earth? Fuck yeah. I don't need the fucking government trying to dictate what my syllabus is.
But are they going to get federal funds still? Or will it just be all state and local funds? Or will it be completely private? That's the thing I don't get. How can you make something private if they're getting public funding? It's kind of like an oxymoron.
501c3, baby. Get your tax breaks, just follow the rules.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for less government in the schools. But at the same time, there's just this little voice in the back of my head saying, the people setting it up, running the school could be worse than the government. Hard to imagine.
Not really. There's a channel on YouTube called Grassroots Army. And basically all they do is highlight parents talking at school board meetings. At least that's what they've been doing very recently. Because all these school boards are trying to get the weird... I think I even saw Walter post an article about an 11-year-old boy reading some pornographic book he pulled out of the school library. And that's a lot of what they show on this YouTube channel, Grassroots Army, is parents, students, grandparents, all sorts of people standing up and saying, look, we're done with this. We're done. We trusted you to do it, and we turned our back and allowed you to run roughshod over us, and now we're done. Now we're turning our eyes back on you, and we don't like what we're seeing, so things are going to change. And I like watching those get highlighted on that channel. Grassroots Army over there on YouTube. Check it out.
Yeah, when I read that story, it really, yeah. And the problem is, sorry, to really get you guys as pissed off as I was, I would have to read some of what he read aloud to you, and I probably shouldn't do that on any platform because it's that fucking ridiculous. And yeah, it's ridiculous. Thank goodness, as my son got to a certain age, I was able to get him out of the public school system, and we found a charter school that after talking to the principal and a few of the teachers, I felt like, well, I can't do it at home anymore, so let's see what I can do here with these people. And I have to say they did a really good job. But yeah, and I mean, charter schools, I mean, they truly were out of the school state bullshit, the agenda, they were actually teaching phonics there. They were not just doing rote memorization. And, in fact, when he finally got through that and got out for the last, I think it was like the last 3 years, he had to go to the public school here to get to to get graduated out. And when they started that there with him, he was just like blown away at the lists of words and all. He's like, how did I ever learn this way in like first and second grade before you got me out of that? And I'm like, I don't know, son. I really don't. So, yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
The only type of private schools we had up north back in the day were all Catholic schools. Those were like the only ones that you could go to in other...
And what's cool about the charter school situation is it's not like that. It's not tuition driven where you have to pay a certain amount per year to go and all that. It's basically I don't know. In our situation, it was the parents volunteered a lot to do a lot of stuff. I went on a lot of field trips. I did a lot of school functions there. At that school, when they traveled to other schools to do school functions, I rode the bus with them. I mean, I spent those years, I think probably at least as half as much time in school as my son was spending at the school there, because I was trying to feel like I was doing my part to keep things going. Now, you could donate if you felt that you were financially, fluid enough to be able to throw money their way. They certainly didn't deny a good donor or two, but for situations like mine, I definitely didn't have the big pockets, so I helped by giving my energy directly. And it was great because I spent a lot of time with my son doing like just crazy shit that I never would have done probably otherwise, hanging out in chicken farms and fishing and
I did
runoff from a skating rink and just crazy shit. Go ahead.
lot of too with my little brother. My mom was very active. She was like the room teacher and all that stuff all through. But when she couldn't be there, I would go for like the field day, and I umped Little League and just little stuff like that, helping out that way. But the schools up there out in the country in northern Indiana, it was very parent funded. It really was, because they were so underfunded out there in the country. I had 360 something kids in my graduating class in the town I grew up in. My little brother had 34, just 34 in his whole class. That was his high school graduation, was 34 students. So they definitely didn't get as much funding, but the parents were all about helping out. A lot of them were farmers, things like that, who had extra money, not, loads and loads of extra money. But I remember all the teachers throughout my little brother's whole school career, every type of social this or that, they always thanked the parents so much and made such a big point out of how much help they got for, just paper in the class, pencils, erasers, all that kind of stuff that they, a lot of teachers were putting it out of their own pocket. But they were overwhelmed by the amount of help they got out there in the country. It's different. When you get into a city, there's a lot of people that don't even know their neighbor, and then you move out to the country, and just within like a year, like a quarter of the town, because there's not that many people and you're seeing these people all the time. Yeah, it's just different out there. I loved living out in the country. Life just slows, they say island time, life slows down. Well, in the country, life slows down a little bit. It's like in the middle. There's city time, country time, and then there's island time. But yeah, country time, you better have an extra 10 minutes when you're going to the feed barn to pick up your pet food, because the old man there's going to want to talk your ear off for 10 minutes. And it's always a good conversation. It's not like you're, don't want to have the conversation with them, but that's just part of country life. And yeah, I don't know how private schools would work out there. I don't know. Probably better, actually. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between the whole private school thing. Now, what are the rules in a private school? Would you be able to teach flat Earth in a private school?
I don't see why not.
Are there certain curriculum that need to be met, or do they just have to pass a GED test? Pretty much like.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah,
do you even need to be able to pass a GED test? If you don't have a college diploma, sure, or a high school diploma, sure. But if you're going to a private school that teaches whatever the fuck they want, or if you're homeschooled and you earn a diploma that way, do you then need to get a GED?
Well, yeah, if people are graduating high school and still can't read, they're just shuffling them through just to get them in and out. And I'm sure they get paid more money for how many people graduate compared to how many people they have, you know? So there's, yeah, we're just going to send them through. They can't read. They don't know 2 times 2. But we're going to push them through anyway. I mean, what difference would that be if you were teaching them, you know, just straight nonsense? Base garbage, even. I mean, they're not learning the basics and they're graduating high school. So yeah, I don't see any problem with pretty much teaching whatever you want. If the kids aren't learning anything by the time they get out of there, then yeah. I don't know. This wasn't a big thing when I was young. Children not graduating, at least not in my area. You know, there was a few who dropped out and this and that. But now it's like rampant. And the whole Common Core math, all that stuff needs to go. Memorize your multiplication tables. Just memorize them. Get some flashcards. It'll take, 6 months, even if you're having trouble. And it just changes your whole life. It's like talking almost. Learn this stuff. Just memorize it. I think writing needs to be a thing again. Yes, computers are great, but children need to learn how to write with a pencil and a piece of paper. And
spelling curses and cursive with stuff.
They need to learn too. Even if they're never going to use it in their whole life, they need to learn cursive. For one simple fact, so they can read the fucking Constitution of the United States. I know it's printed out there, but still.
If it's not printed accurately, how would you know?
To go up to that document and be able to read it right there, looking at it, you got to learn these things. And what better way than to, hide the fact that people are free than making it so they can't even read the document that makes them free? Well, that tells the government that they are free people. The piece of paper doesn't make them free. The Creator made us free. That piece of paper is just telling our government, hey, we're free. We know we're free. And you're not going to, overstep these lines that we drew. Yeah, children need to learn this stuff.
Damn, we're down to about 3 minutes. Sorry to interrupt.
Wow, 3 minutes. Well, I was just saying they're occulting. Now.
Uh-huh.
Well, we only got a few minutes left here, and this is kind of a thing I hate doing. We're a radio show, but I'm going to show you a video. I'll show it again this afternoon when we're actually doing our video show, but this one it's kind of crazy. I've been telling you guys a minute now that there's a shark thing coming. Ever since I saw that shark on that chalkboard in the iPad Goat video, and then the dance with the ritual and the shark. Yeah, it's coming. Here we go. Hang on. Let me get back to the right channel. And how do you share again? Here we go. This is right here off the coast of Louisiana. Yeah, no jaws there, granted, but go swimming. I'm not got that. Well, they probably. Attacking the boat? I mean, come on, man.
Oh,
Soaking wet.
No, none of them are big.
That's what I'm saying. None of them are big, but go swimming. I think they said the biggest one they saw in that little grouping was about 8 foot, and it's, you don't ever see that one on camera.
That's a big
Yeah,
shark.
that's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's a big fucking shark. Bigger than you are, or bigger than I am anyway. So yeah, they saw one that big in that turmoil, but they didn't see any. Most of them were like around that 2 foot, foot and a half, whatever. That's what I actually saw. The one shark I saw in real life was on the jetty in Texas. A gentleman had caught it and had pulled it up and was trying to get his hook out of its mouth to throw it back because it was only about a foot and a half. But it definitely had a mouthful of funky teeth I didn't want to mess with.
Yeah, the only sharks I've ever seen like live, I was on by Corpus Christi down in Texas.
There you go, another Texas shark.
A highway overpass, and this guy was out in like one of those inner tube waders. They're like an inner tube, but it's got legs to go fishing. And there was 3 sharks that I saw and I was a good,
Uh-oh, that's probably going to cut you out, Zach. So to come back to the story on the other side of the break, as we hit the halfway point here on the Ironworx, truthfrequencyradio.com, TFRlive.com, and we'll hear more about inflatable waders and people walking around with sharks. BPS in chat was saying that was a black tip migration there off the coast of Louisiana.
My name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
And so I just want to make sure I understand you correctly. So you said you're alleging that you heard or that you witnessed ballots being put in the machine, run through, counted, and then
And
put
another
through again.
strike. Chris, thank you very fucking much.
What do you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it? Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0. Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0. They were just rescanning, counting votes 9 to 10 times. They were running these ballots through countless times. Wait, what about the turnout rate? 120%. There was illegal activity going on there.
What you said today is the truth.
I wrote a written affidavit.
What you said today is the truth.
Yes, it is 100% true. I know what I saw, and I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison. Did you? That poll is off-site over 100,000. That poll, what do you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it? Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0. Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0. They just found my resume and called me and said, do you want to work the election? These Democrats took every avenue possible to commit fraud in this election. Can you put a number to it? Countless times, numerous times, 9 to 10 times, thousands of times, at least 30,000, over 100,000. What I saw was over 20 counts of fraud taking place in front of my face. And this isn't counting, the ballots that are found in rivers, the ballots found under rocks, the ballots, that poll is off-site over 100,000. That poll, what do you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it? Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0. Why don't you look at the registered voters? 0, 0, there's 0.
What the fuck, bro?
must unite what has been set asunder.
We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Wake up! What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt, and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
This is Michael Tyson. You probably know me better as Iron Mike, but I don't go by Iron Mike no more because I used to be a monster. I'm a different person now. I'm all about happiness. But what is happiness? I'll tell you what happiness is. Every time I listen to my favorite show, Iron Realm Media. It's a truther show on YouTube.
And welcome back to Iron Realm Media on YouTube, D-Live, Odyssey, Facebook, Twitter, not to mention Rockfin. And I guess there's the other one. That other one. Whatever it is.
So now for the rest of the story, if you don't mind.
Shout out Paul Harvey.
Yeah, I'm Paul Harvey. Okay, so in our quest for truth and trying to find stuff in the world and looking at the stuff we're fed and given, we see a pattern that develops all too often. And I wanted to share this all in one segment, but it didn't work that way because of the time we had. So I just showed you guys a video of a bunch of sharks, and they were doing a bunch of crazy shit. So I know we got our buddy Big Bang. Hell, let me go back to chat. That would probably be a good thing to do. I know our buddy Piney is in the chat. Big Pine Sailing. So every year there's things that happen off the coast here, and being that I grew up here, I know about them. And so there is a thing that happens where a type of shark called a black tip goes through, and there's a big, I don't know if it's necessarily do they migrate or do they just go in like a search of, I can't remember if it's migration or if it's actually they're going after like a certain school of fish that appear here or what it is, but they go through. Looking at the footage, though, I don't know. I don't know for sure. It could be spinners. I don't know. I'm not a sharkologist, nor do I play one on TFR. But what I want to illustrate here is the storyline that has been fed with this story. And I was, I could have threw a few in there, but I didn't. But just to give you a clue of what we got here. Fisherman catches feeding frenzy out, shocking feeding frenzy off the coast. Viral shark feeding frenzy, terrifying video. So yeah, that's kind of what they turned it into. Even though there's nothing terrifying really in the video other than an abundance of sharks that are in the water. That I wouldn't jump in and go swimming, but yeah, they definitely take any little thing and spin it all into fear and turn it into, the fear factor. And so definitely, I never wanted that to be my intention here. I just thought it was a really crazy video that has come along. And I've been keeping my eye out on shark stories over the last few years. So any shark related story that comes through goes through my feed, like space junk and things like that. So if I was worried about gator attacks, I guess I would get those stories through my feed. But anyway, just a little clarity on the literal 4 pages of massive shark frenzy and feeding shark attack and not attack frenzy. So yeah, anyway, but if you go back, there's videos from like 2015 of this same thing happening. There's videos from like 2013. So yeah, this has happened before. It'll happen again. When the sharks start growing legs and walking up on shore, then we'll be worried.
Land shark.
Oh, you beat me to it, fucker.
Telegram.
Canagram.
My favorite one was
Endergram.
It was supposed to be like during like the week before Thanksgiving or something like that. And it was like trick or treater. They're like, wait a minute, Halloween was like 2 weeks ago. And you go, disabled trick or treater. Oh, okay. Gets eaten. Or the one where the land shark takes over the radio. If there's a land shark at your door, open them up and offer them some milk and cookies. They're real nice. That's what the radio tells her. He's like,
oh, okay.
Who is it? Land shark. He says, land shark. Oh, okay. What happened to just, I don't know. I can't say that because I don't watch Saturday Night Live anymore, like at all. But what happened to funny television? Mad TV, The Kids in the Hall, all these old In Living Color, all these old comedy skit shows that were actually pushing
funny.
the envelope.
Yeah, when we were watching Kids in the Hall, our parents were saying, what happened to all the comedy? What happened to all the funny shows? What is this nonsense they're playing?
Oh, telegram, just a moment.
If we do it all, I will get a strike. I just wanted a piece. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Josh.
What'd I say?
I'm right there with you. There was one? Oh, man. Why I got to stop the video. Hang on.
Yeah, I mean, when did people decide that comedy was so offensive?
Sometime shortly after the Honeymooners.
Yeah,
domestic violence really isn't that funny.
But anyway, when we were watching Kids in the Hall, I'm sure our parents were thinking the same thing. Oh, I'll say that. No, my mom did love it. She watched it with us too. So maybe not.
It's fun.
That's where I got a lot of my comedy from. My sense of humor is that my mother was, quite open to a lot of varieties of comedy as I grew up. So I was exposed to a lot of it, I guess. But yeah. But, I see stuff now and it just seems stupid sometimes, like really ignorant based comedy. It's always like within 2 minutes we're doing shit jokes. And I'm like, really? Is that all we have to make jokes about? anymore. I don't know. Call me a stick in the mud. But yeah, definitely. I don't know. I still find stuff I like that's new. You know, I pointed Zack to the Birthday Boys not long ago, talking about a comedy troupe that I enjoy. There was the Auntie Donna little group that came out on one of the streamers not long ago. They hit a few triggers that I didn't care for on one or two of their bits, but they're recent enough troupe that I expected that, but they really didn't overdo it, and it was really some surprisingly good humor. I don't know. Maybe that's part of what humor is it's supposed to, you know, make people think and shake up the shit.
Most of the humor nowadays, you have to be informed in one way or another to get it almost. There's no more of that like the land shark. It's just stupid funny. But you know, where is that anymore? That stuff that just kind of makes you giggle and laugh. And I mean, land shark, they even would be offended by it now. They would find a way. Oh, of course, it's a woman answering the door because women are stupid. You know?
You're promoting violence.
Yeah, you're promoting violence. Sharks to come
Male
out.
toxicity. That shark is obviously male.
Yeah. Easy. And this whole idea that.
Oh, wait, no, Daz. Humor is not laughing at. Okay, Daz says in chat, now humor is laughing at old people falling down. That shit's always been funny.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember back when, help, I'm falling and I can't get up. That shit has been funny for as long as I've seen it. Dixie was just talking about this the other day. The simple humor of young boys. As a photographer, she used to, because she would do studio. She started out in the studio for like Sears Portrait or something, and went on to corporate. But when she started out there, they used to keep a piece of cardboard handy behind the camera because when you had an unruly boy that didn't want to make eye contact, didn't want to smile, didn't want to laugh, all you had to do is grab a piece of cardboard and smack yourself in the head with it loudly and then just pretend like it hurt real bad. And they would bust up laughing. And I think that's just the weird sense of humor. I think somebody getting hurt that's not you is always a little bit funny somewhere.
I've hurt myself and I thought it was funny though too.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You do it and it's real dumb and you know what you did was that dumb. You know, I was upset with myself one time because nobody saw me get hurt. We were on a roof tearing off the shingles. And there's 4 other guys up there with me, and they're all looking the opposite way when I go and step on a roofing shovel, and the handle comes up and splits my lip good, like blood running down my face. Not one person saw it, and that's what upset me. It wasn't the fat lip or any of that, the blood. I was like, dude, are you serious? None of you got to see that, And I was laughing my ass off. After the fact, once I quit bleeding and everything, because you just can't believe you do stupid stuff like that. But it's funny. The Stooges were geniuses. They knew it.
The number of times I've knocked the wind out of myself and couldn't laugh, wanted to.
Physically can't laugh.
Yep.
Yeah, as long as you're, not losing an arm or something like that, and nobody's terminally ill or terminally hurt from it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got what you meant, really, Daz. He just says he means adult humor is now what we used to laugh at as young children. I also saw him talk about his roommate recently binging, what was that vomit he talked about here? Oh, Friends. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not talking about idiopathic stuff. I'm talking about like comedy. That's not comedy. That's mind dribbled crap that's aimed at, I don't know who that's aimed at. I really don't. My offense if that's somebody's favorite show, but yeah, that's not comedy. Sitcoms aren't comedy.
Not even
I know that
situational.
last part is calm and it's supposed to stand for comedy, but I think it actually stands for commerce, situational commerce. They try to sell you products through the show. I think that's what sitcom really stands for. But yeah, I don't think there's ever been a sitcom I could watch more than 3 episodes of before. It had to be something really out there and off the wall to get me to sit around for more than a couple of episodes of just trite sitcomism. And I have never seen an episode of Friends.
No, nor I.
Ever in mine. Like, I've walked out of rooms it was on because my stomach started twinging, and I'm like, what's going on? I turned around and saw what was on the TV. I'm like, oh, that must be what's doing that. And I go to the bathroom, and it would get better. Seawall went straight to the shit joke.
Yeah, the whole comedy thing has changed so much. It's like we're living in the 50s again almost. They say this happens from time to time. They say the 50s were like this, the 80s were like this. It might be a every few decade thing, but yeah, like comedy dies for us. Society loses its sense of humor for some reason, and everything becomes offensive. So everything turns into Andy Griffith and things like that, you know? And then the next decade is going to be insane, I bet. The 2030s is going to be off the wall. Comedy is going to explode again. I mean, that's what happens, isn't it? Like, when did Saturday Night Live start? The 70s? But the 60s is when, like, TV started getting wild and crazy again. Like, the Gong Show came out and all these different shows where people were saying things on television that you never heard on Andy Griffith or the Honeymooners or any shows like this, you know. I don't know. Society's weird. The ebbs and flows of society. I mean, you could pick a topic and just watch it like a pendulum go back and forth to different extremes. Yeah, it's weird getting older when you start really thinking back and putting dates to things and then lining it up chronologically, how it all changes at these certain times. Places, it's amazing. You ever wonder what life would be like if you were the only human on Earth? Not like tomorrow everybody's gone, but like you're like Adam by himself. No build, no nothing here.
No Eve? No future?
No nothing. Just you alone on this place.
Well, then we just live life until our health kills us because we have no way to.
I figured we'd probably get really bored. And in that boredom, we'd probably try to figure out some way to interact with something, because no interaction is insanity. And so by that, we would probably try to figure out a way to maybe splinter ourselves off into all these little pieces that wouldn't know that we're all the same thing and sew them off. Just get out of here. Oops, sorry. See if they could find their way back to me one day and not let them know I'm me, though. You know, they'd all think they're themselves, and they'd be all talking to each other and, like, you know, cutting up, doing radio shows and talking about flat earth and shit like that. And they'd never know that it was just me having fun, coming up with something, because I'm all by myself, bored and alone.
Yeah, I've been having this just almost like a training exercise, if you will. But just as like a, just trying to imagine it. You start imagining it, and then all of a sudden you realize, no, that would take another human. No, that would take another human. No, that would take another human. Just start looking at what daily grind kind of would be like. I don't know. Is that how we're supposed to be living? Like Bigfoot? I don't know. I've told you guys this before. For the last, I don't know, years, I've had this thought that we're not living as the Creator intended. Clothes, all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Or did He intend for us to live like this, where we speak and I don't know. You would think He wouldn't have us all speak in different languages and this and that. I mean, do we have ESP? Does everybody? We're like infants and we haven't learned how to use it yet. We can't talk that way yet. We never put in the time and the effort to learn how. We never had to because we learned how to speak.
I feel like there's got to be some part of that to be true. For me to have these exact thoughts and questions as a child, I think just shows that I had been redirected somewhere I wasn't meant to go. And that I was just yearning to get back onto the path that it was intended. Yes, there was another way, another path down which I was led, but I just always felt like there was definitely something more. And maybe it was just the television. Maybe this is all TV programming that makes me even suggest and think that there is, and it's the Christmas magic and all the magic and bullshit that they've shown us on television that would make me think that would even be possible. But the idea that children would be more accessible to it because they are less conditioned has been a common theme in many stories.
Mm-hmm. Is that what the nursery rhymes were for? The more I look back on nursery rhymes, even, you just find all these little bits and bobs of, truth and a warning about the real world and how bad and evil people can be. And then does it tell us our true history? The old woman who lived in a shoe. That doesn't mean that she kept all her belongings. She had so few that she could tuck them down into her shoe. Like the picture in the nursery rhyme book showed like a shoe with a door cut into it and a window cut into it. And that was like her house, a shoe. Are we supposed to remember that there were giants at one time? So big that we could fit inside their shoe?
Yes, and we're also supposed to reject the idea that giants ever existed based on what we're taught in school. We're supposed to have those conflicting ideas in our head at the same time, I think. I think that's so much of what our mind control consists of, are having to correlate these two conflicting messages that they keep pumping at us in two different ways.
Or is it a blueprint for them to know how to control us? The Pied Piper used music to lead all the children away from their parents. Music was very influential in my life. Made me want to revolt against everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's wild.
Words of rebellion make you want to rage, but they're written by millionaires who are nearly twice your age.
Yeah, it's a very interesting place where we live.
I'm sorry I had to laugh at fucking David Small Hat in chat. He's been running with a nice little gag about your script you're reading from right now.
Oh, David, well, shout out to Dearth, creator of the Oh, God. You, David. He says he's reading a copy of my script. Oh, geez. I know. I go on some.
God, this is great. Oh, man. Well, all I know is old King Cole's a Mario soul was he. He called for his pipe, he called for his bowl. I guess we know about old King Cole.
That's all we needed to call for, because once you got that, what else do you need?
Yeah, so during this apocalypse, do you think that it's all going to come out?
No.
I don't either. Damn it.
I think there's mysteries in every existence. Is my completely subjective personal point of view. No matter where you go, there will be things which you cannot explain.
That's one of the lessons.
Yep.
I like it.
Dan Morris. Oh, you're going to piss off Flat Earth Channel 2 or whatever it was. He's talking about those Flat Earth millionaires, speaking of deep inside the rabbit hole.
I did want to give you a warning too, Dave. Beware of the bottle just before the HGH, because there is a big difference between GBH and HBH. Anyway, that's the end of the first half of the second half of the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Stick around. We've got the fourth and final segment coming up right after these briefest of messages.
It's not the amount that counts. It's the philosophy that executes your plan that counts. If a child has $1, what should he do with it? It's very important. It's going to determine the rest of his life, what he does with $1. You say, well, it's just a child and it's just $1. We call that massive errors in judgment. If a child is allowed to spend the whole dollar and they don't have the sense of where that could take them, we call that the greatest disservice to a child. Not to explain to them the journey and the road you select when you spend the whole dollar. So if a child wants to spend the whole dollar, you say, no, you can't spend the whole dollar. Child says, why not? Say, well, let me show you why not. And you take them to the other side of town and say, would you like to live here? Here's where the people live that spend all they make. Here's where they live. There's nothing better than visual to illustrate to a child. Show them the tragic circumstances. If you spend all you make, if you spend all you've got, and kids will come home with their big wide eyes. Say, would you like to live here? Would you like to live like this? Kid says, no, I wouldn't want to live here. Then you can't spend the whole dollar.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state. Manifest new and exciting experiences. Re-energize your life and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
No hate. No hype. No fear. We are TFR. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. You're listening to Iron Realm Media. I listen all the time, and it's the best truth show out there. Forget about the mainstream lying. Get your weekly dose of iron. Realm, that is. Stay woke, folks.
Wakey, wakey.
Part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
You have stolen my dreams, my childhood.
Welcome back to the fourth and final segment of the Ironworx right here at truthfrequencyradio.com, TFRlive.com. We are on our backup channel on the YouTubes as well. Don't ask me why. I never can tell. I didn't even bother to investigate it. No idea what the excuse they gave was this time. Just wasn't particularly interested, to tell you the truth.
So I wonder what Mexico's like right now.
You give me a strike, you get a strike. Sorry, go ahead.
Morning, boys, or good day.
What's up, Dave?
Mexico.
I know
I'm
that
back.
guy. What's up, bro?
Oh, you're back. That's right. What was it, yesterday?
Back in? Say it again?
Yesterday, right? You got back in?
I don't know, man. What day is today? I think I'll go back on the 1st.
Okay, yeah. Maybe that was
the 1st?
I
think the 1st.
Yeah, we're on the
Hey,
3rd.
I wanted to comment. You were talking about the apocalypse, and do you think everything is going to be revealed? And you're not so sure. You go back and forth. I go back and forth all the time, but I think that more is going to be. I think both answers. What I'm trying to say is both answers are correct. It depends on your view. Like right now, there's people that are awake, knowing what we know, and there's people that are completely asleep, the normies. And so we essentially live in two different worlds. And I think as this goes forward, it's going to be split even more. There's going to be more awareness of what's really going on. And there's going to be people lost in the helio-nonsensical world. So, we live in this world. We know there's a creator. I don't think the creator sets it up where there's no way to win. And I really am constantly seeing signs that we're winning, that the truth is coming out. Not that it's about me, but when I was in Mexico, I was recognized 10 times.
That is so awesome.
10 times. The last one was on my flight back. I was up front, and the stewardess goes to me, "Oh, how was Mexico?" I was like, "Oh, it was great." She goes, "How long were you there for?" And I was like, "Well, 2 months." She's like, "Oh my God, wow. Are you retired?" I'm like, "Well, not really." I said, she goes, "What do you do?" And I go, "Well, I have an app that I do interviews for, and people check it out." She goes, "What's the app about?" And I, always careful what I say. I say, "Well, it's an app that teaches you about the earth and where you live." And she goes, "Oh my God, you don't think the earth is flat?" Because I do. And the conversation, she's in a Facebook group with a whole bunch of other stewardesses that they're just amongst themselves. And she's showing me the stream and all the images. She had one of my memes in there. I didn't even know who I was. And but that happened again and again and again on vacation. It's unbelievable. People are spotting me. And you know why they spotted me? Not because of my face. They saw my necklace. And then they pointed out at my medallion, and when I started talking, like, wait a minute, I know that voice. And then they recognized me. So this shit's growing, dude.
I love it. That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and I just see so many people waking up now. Do you guys remember what my radius was before I left for Mexico? And I did my 50-kilometer radius. I think it was like 420.
Somewhere right around there, I'm pretty sure.
It was 505 yesterday. Oh, so
just exponentially growing.
It's a good indicator what's going on.
And just think, those are just the people that are willing to say that they're flat earthers now, openly. Imagine how many are still, in hiding.
Well, and also, when people download the app, I'm thinking half of them don't even go to the friend finder and log in. So there's no blue dot for those people. I mean, I know for a fact that's the case because the number of downloads versus the number of people in the friend finders is vastly different.
Thank you. I was going to say, surely you've got access to those numbers. You would know.
Well, here's the thing. I never looked at those numbers. The last time I looked was probably 6 months ago. I don't like looking at the number of downloads. I like looking at the number of people that have gone into the friend finder, because that's the lower number. That's the more conservative number. That's the number I can prove. Like maybe someone downloaded the app and then deleted it. I don't know. But active friend finder users is the number I look at.
2 months ago, before you left, I think I was like right at around 140. I think it was.
Yeah.
Right now I'm sitting on 191.
Woo-hoo!
So even here in Hoboken, South Carolina, not a major city around anywhere in my circle. Columbia is not even in my circle.
Yeah. This one restaurant we went to, the waiter, I flat smacked him, me and Ian Leahy, and we flat smacked him, and then like a day or two later on WhatsApp he messages me and he's like, oh my God, he goes, this is so interesting, and he's just like going. And so now every time we went to that restaurant, he'd be like, come right in, sit down, and he'd give us the flat signal. It was great. He's like hooked. And so I told him when we last day we were there, I said, next year when I come back, I said, every person that works here needs to be flat. It's your job. And he's like, okay, mission accepted. And then while the plane was loading, I'm sitting in my chair, and this woman wearing headphones, carrying all her stuff, she looks at me, she points at my necklace, she gives me the flat signal, and then high fives me. And that's it. We didn't talk anything. She didn't say anything else. She didn't say anything. She had headphones on. She had big giant headphones on.
And it's just is it a blue dot necklace?
No, it's a medallion. It's a silver medallion that has the flat Earth on it. Paige has the woman's version, which is like a little bigger than a silver dollar. Mine's probably a little bigger than a quarter, maybe 50% bigger than a quarter.
Yeah, boy.
And it's silver.
About the size of a dinner plate. Does it have a clock on it? Sorry.
And it's Paige got it for my birthday last year, and I love it. And boy, so many people see it, ask questions. It's like all of a sudden this happened. Like for a long time, no one even noticed it, and now everyone's like pointing at it, and then they're using it like, oh my God, that is him, because they see the flat Earth.
Go to find something like that.
So here's the thing: it's on the app. If you hit the shopping cart button and then look for the medallions, it only shows the women's medallions on there. The girl's name is Rachel Tone. She was at the conference in Dallas. She had a table there. They're solid silver, so they're not cheap. But she's very flaky, and you have to like go to her website and then hit the contact form, and then you have to email her, and you have to be like, hey, I want one of your stupid medallions. Please sell it to me. And she's very, very, very flaky. So, hey, anyone listening, and I've been waiting for Rachel to step up her game. If anyone is like a silversmith, makes silver jewelry, and wants to make these, These things are super popular, and if somebody could like mass produce high quality ones, I'll put it on the app, and you'll have a nice little business. So, yeah.
Just seen there's a meetup happening here in South Carolina. Are you coming, Dave?
I would love to go to every meetup, dude.
I know Spicy Sarah's throwing it.
I know. I heard. Yeah, Spicy Sarah's doing some work of helping me get the quiz game going.
Nice.
I'm actually seeing a full mock-up of it on the Android version today, and it's looking super cool. There's gonna be a whole new page with kitty cat. My cat's sitting on my neck right now. Is going to be a whole new page with multiple games. The first one's going to be the trivia, and then I have a a memorization game where it's going to be like images, flat Earth images, and a whole tile board, and you have to click one and click another, and if they don't match, they flip back over. What's that game? Yeah.
Match game. Something.
Match game.
Memory.
And then I'm going to try to make it where the images, when they flip over, are clickable to take you to a relevant website, whether it's a YouTube channel. Let's say it's your logo, Zach, and then it'll take it to your YouTube channel. It could just be logos mixed with the Moonlander, mixed with, and then you click the Moonlander, it takes you to Altaris or whatever that moon landing site is, or whatever. So it's gonna work like that. It's gonna be pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah. And the other one is it's gonna be like Wheel of Fortune. No, not Wheel of Fortune. Wait, is it Wheel of Fortune? Yeah, it'd be like Wheel of Fortune or Hangman, the same thing. And you have a certain amount of guesses to get the answer. And instead of being a hangman, it'll be like a rocket taking off and crashing into the ocean. So each time you get one wrong, it goes each time you have a turn, it goes a little farther until it crashes into the ocean. Something like that.
That is awesome, man. Okay, when is this meetup? I know it's coming up. I'm sorry. I know Mark did a thing for it. No, I'm not seeing it. March 4th, there's a meetup in Florida. You can go to Mark Sargent's channel to check that one out. Meetup in California, March 18th. That will be the day I'm giving my presentation at the True Earth Mount Meru Summit. You can go TEMMS, True Earth Mount Meru Summit .live, I believe.
Yes.
And that'll take you to the page where you can get all the information. Whole slew. I didn't see you on there, David.
I'm going to be on the Q&A panel. I'm not doing a presentation this year. I'm just on the Q&A.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I knew you'd be doing something somewhere with it.
Yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to Caleb and Derek. Do you follow Derek and Caleb on TikTok?
No, I've never been on TikTok, David.
Dude, you have to start going on there. You have to. The short little videos, Derek is friggin' crushing it. If you're looking for his channel, it's on the web page on the app. It's I got Derek and Caleb. They're like they're on the first row, I think. Just get to their channel and just start following their stuff. Derek is putting out, I don't know how many videos per day. It's insane. And they're all awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love seeing all the new people coming out. It's just, you can't keep up with all of them.
No, there's so many, and to be honest, people like, oh, TikTok, it's short attention. Sure, I'll agree with that, but the amount of stuff, like, we don't have, like, there's so many links I get. I'm like, wow, that looks really good. Too bad I don't have time to watch it. And but on TikTok, you can get exposed to a whole bunch of different people really quick, and then you're like, okay, you know what? Now I'll start watching more of that stuff. Telling you, fortunately, whatever it is, the short attention span stuff is the way to reach the most amount of people right now.
It's small hat magic.
And you can follow my new TikTok channel. I think it's Dave_FED but it says nothing about flat Earth in it, but it's all about flat Earth.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy numbers over there on TikTok. It was like YouTube back in 2016.
Dude,
flat Earth is totally dominating the platform.
A friend of mine put a video out, flat Earth, with a little, hey, get the app to check it out, and it got over 1 million views in a week.
Oh,
yeah.
So it sounds like they haven't started censoring.
They have, but they haven't mastered it yet.
Okay, so there's still ways around it.
Yeah, like Caleb's channel, he's completely shadow banned. He's completely shadow banned now. I mean, he used to get 250,000 or more views, and now he's getting, 10,000 or something. But there's other people that are just putting stuff out there, and it goes viral. And if enough people like repost it, the algorithm goes, okay, go back to the original and start pushing it. So if people, go to my TikTok, go to anyone's TikTok that you like, and just repost their stuff. If you don't, if you don't mind if you just put it on your channel, just say repost, just hit repost. Then the algorithm will start going wild and pushing the original. So we have the power to make this stuff go viral if people would just give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I don't like to say it, as far as for me, I'm still working with frequencies and stuff like that. I'm learning a lot. But the tests that I want to do are I want to know, like, the electric field up high, what's going on. I want high altitude, like the data Iru's getting ready to gather.
Yeah.
1,000-foot balloon. We need more of those. That's what we need. But still, he's not going to be able to get. I don't think NASA knows what's going on up there electrically. I think it's like 2 kilometers is the highest we've ever been able to connect a wire from the ground and take it up into the air. And at 2 kilometers, the wire explodes. It's not like there wasn't more wire, but the wire, there's so much potential difference between the wire and the air. Yeah, the wire just evaporates. And a bolt of lightning gets created. So yeah, I don't even think they know what's really going on up there. And I've been racking my brain trying to, figure out a way to measure something without knowing the ground potential, without that device knowing what's down there. I don't know if it's possible.
The line that really sticks with me the most was, I remember the guy I was communicating with who was a NASA whistleblower. Now, again, I don't have any confirmation of anything, but everything he was saying to me rang true, and the way that he disappeared rings true. And I showed everyone this stuff, but one thing he says, NASA has the ability to go up to that layer where things start turning into plasma and get thicker. The guy said it turns into plasma and then it gets thicker and thicker and thicker until it becomes solid. And he goes, that's what's above us. He goes, we have the ability to go up there, but we're forbidden to go up there and measure and, do tests. So are the people that are building these, rockets forbidden, or is all of NASA forbidden by somebody else?
Yeah.
I wonder.
They don't want anybody knowing.
Yeah.
And I mean, people don't want to hear that, That's why I can't stand the why the lie question so early.
Yeah.
It's to hide the creator, or the creation, I should say.
It's to hide our true power. It's amazing. I mean, look at flat earthers. Look how much power we've taken back in our lives. I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like to be a normie right now. I mean, just lost. You're literally lost in space. You're here on Earth. You're lost in space. At least we know that we're not lost in space.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. That took away so much of my fear. Even when I mean, I knew there was a creator, and I knew that, this meat suit isn't going to be the end of me. That wiped out a lot of the fear.
Zach, you know where the answer
Realized
lies?
space wasn't real. It was like, oh, I got nothing to fear. Shark.
I know where we could find the answers. About 5 miles off the shore of Montauk Point, but you have to go on a small boat and you have to be fishing. You want to come?
No.
All right. I guess we'll never.
Well, yeah, that's what I think that they made up space because they don't want us looking down into the ocean.
Yeah. They don't want us looking, the Southern Ocean is off limits. Well, the Southern Ocean is probably bigger than all of the other oceans combined.
I mean, if there was some type of advanced race, what better place to hide than, the bottom of the ocean? We don't go down there.
Out there.
Well, I'm talking like just the bottom of the ocean, right off the.
The bottom of the ocean. Yes.
Yeah, once it gets over 1,000 meters, nobody goes down there. There might be a rover, this and that, but people don't go down there. No diver goes down 1,000 meters.
I think it's simple as that. I think there's land just in the Southern Ocean that we don't have access to.
Easily. Yeah. There could be a whole giant continent out there that's just off limits. You can't even get near it. You can't get within 500 miles.
Yep. Yeah. And if 500 miles is below the curve, you never see it.
What is Antarctica? 1,000 miles from the 60-degree latitude?
Look, check this out. Yesterday, so I'm coming out of the gym, and I'm wearing my Flat Earther shirt, and this woman on the way in, I've seen, she goes, "You don't think the Earth is flat?" And I was like, "You don't think the Earth is a globe, do you?" And we're walking in, and she's like, "Well, yes, I do." And a couple things, and I was like, "Well," I go, "maybe one day we'll want to have a conversation about it." And then I went my way, she went hers. So then I'm leaving, we're walking out at the same time, and she goes, "You really think the Earth is flat?" And it had just rained, and this parking lot, this giant parking lot, there's a pothole right near where we were, and it's filled with water. And I said, "Well, look at this puddle right here." I go, "Think of all of the ocean as a puddle, right?" And there were some rocks in the middle of the puddle, some pieces of pavement that were little continents. I go, "All of those islands, those are the continents." And I go, "And this shoreline and the rest of the parking lot is Antarctica." And she looked around, and the rest of the parking lot, is 1,000 times bigger than the puddle. And she's like, her eyes opened up. She's like, "What?" It was a great, literally a puddle. I wish I took a picture of the puddle. I have to wait until that parking lot's empty and it's filled with water, and then do like a drone shot right over it, and then pull up. It'll be a great representation of what the flat Earth could look like.
Uh-huh.
But if you ever see a puddle and you're talking to somebody, but then you look at the rest of the road, the rest of the parking lot, that's Antarctica, and it clicks. She got it.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, sometimes that's all they need is that visual representation. Because I'm sure she was thinking flat Earth, a disc floating in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need that little nudge to like, hey, it's not what mainstream shows you, we think. Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Amazing. Every day is amazing.
That's what I like
it's
to
gonna
hear.
be raining here all day.
What are you saying? Water, the most precious substance on Earth, is falling from the sky? That's crazy. You're making that up, Zach.
But we need
Could
to
be
consider.
Diamonds. We're lucky.
Well,
Right.
no, God, water, the most incredible substance that we don't understand. Life is falling from the sky. Okay, that's a crazy story.
For free.
How grateful are
Well,
you?
hang out after the call here, Dave. I may have somebody I can point in your direction that does jewelry. Maybe. We'll see in a minute. But we're almost done here. Before we do get out of here, I just want you guys to know that unless something happens between now and 5:30-ish, then my buddy Grady should be coming on and hanging out with us. I've known Grady for a long time. He has apparently been on a path of healing of late, and I'd like to hear about that. I haven't talked to him in, it's been a few years. So I think it's going to be exciting. He's also a pilot. So we'll see what might go there as well. We'll see. But that is the plan for this afternoon. He's been making something with, my goodness, it has just all manner of mushroom, and I'm trying to go find the list. I saw it just a minute ago. Chaga, reishi, turkey tail, lion's mane. Other ones, where are they? There's also ashwagandha, morgana leaf in it. There's some turmeric, some black pepper. It's some ooey gooey looking stuff. So I'm intrigued to find out what got him down this path. So any of the fellow healers that hang out with us there and chat, definitely come hang out and see what Grady's got for us. I'm excited. I'll send you guys a link to his description of it here in just a moment. But David, thank you for hanging out, sir. We're glad you made it back from your trip safely and healthy.
Good to be back.
Question mark.
That answer will suffice.
It's a little more expensive.
Yeah, no doubt.
Love y'all. Thank y'all.
Hell, it's probably more expensive now than when you even left 2 months ago. But shout out to Bob Glowbusters. I saw you in chat earlier. Lots of love and healing vibes your way, sir. Lots of love and support. And lots of love for the whole family. Anyway, we'll see you back here this evening. Be good, be well, have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.